God bless you guys. This is Sean here from Faith Brings Change. I just want to come on here and talk to you guys for a little bit. I am, I just woke up, and everything, and had kind of a rough couple weeks, studying a little bit of some stuff, in the book of Daniel and dark stuff, and because I'm trying to understand that 7th chapter, because it talks about those 4 kingdoms, coming out of that great sea, and I was just trying to understand it, and I learned a lot, but it was pretty hard to understand some of this stuff. Like, it was hard on me. Like, when you ask God questions about the earth, the greater knowledge is to know Jesus Christ than any of the end times. And, I knew that, but, like, oftentimes you can get caught up in the stuff. And I'm not saying I'm still not interested in that stuff. I really am. And I got to discipline myself, a balance between the Bible prophecy and then the basics, the simplicity of Jesus. But I remember, guys, in a dream that I had been struggling so much, he'd give me this concept of this upside down world from Stranger Things, how the earth is upside down. And the coordinates that we have, like, for instance, in America, we have the north at the top, we have the south, we would see at the bottom or whatever, or backward. And then the east would be to the right, and the west would normally be to the left. But, in the Hebrew, it's completely different. In the Hebrew, it's actually east in front of us. And east means to go forward, one of the main names. And west means to go backwards. And the left is actually the north. It means secrecy. And the right, I don't really know for the south. They have a word for that in Hebrew. I tried to look it up. But I know Jesus' 7 churches are in the hand of the right. But, they put the south behind us. That place where Jesus has the 7 churches, where those 7 lamps are burning. The world wants to put the 7 churches behind us, but God has a completely different thing, the way he runs. But I want to maybe share a blessing, guys. If any of you struggling with negative thoughts, or you're in blasphemous stuff, or people can cuss at your job, and you can hear that, and you can have things that you go through and stuff. But if you're doing that, this part right here, guys, is where I got hit in my head when I was younger. You can have word stones. I mean, people can reject you, and it hurts. And it was like a big stone right on this noggin part. And it caused brain damage, And I talked about how Jesus leaders, often in the church, we get hit because we're called to shine brightly, And big smile on my face the day when that happened. And I think the kids just were intimidated or something. And I saw the narrowing of the eyes and everything, but I don't want to get into all that. But this pineal gland, some people, you can call it the third eye, but I don't mean anything it's our pineal gland. God created it for us, guys. He says, keep your eye single. It's literally a combination between the 2 eyes, guys. It's that single eye. That part was damaged, but I just pictured, because it's like a throne, Jesus sitting on the throne right here, in the center of my forehead. And I wasn't as afraid, and I didn't have so much darkness, because like I told you guys, studying this stuff can get to you, and showing dreams of darkness and things, and what the enemy did in the past, and it's when you look at that stuff, it disturbs you. But I just started thinking about Jesus. This one place I was getting the most pain. You often get that much pain, or headaches. It comes from that place, guys. Just picture Jesus sitting on the throne right over there, And I, of course, had to, calm it down, think of a more peaceful Jesus. Not like angry or anything, but it did help, it does help. And so you might want to try that, guys, if you're having any trouble, focusing or anything. And it was hard for me because I was hit there, And if you have that part of your single eye fogged up, it can fog everything else up. And we know in the cult, of course, guys, that people try to use this whole third eye thing. They try to use it for their own wickedness, but God gave a person a vision once of, like, these acorns and nuts that these squirrels were gathering up trees, and, they were of the Lord, and then all of a sudden, kind of bizarrely, a witch has jump over a fence, and they grab these acorns and nuts the squirrels are gathering for the winter, and they try to store them up. And what he thought it was weird, but what God was telling them was, a lot of these good revelations get stolen by the evil one, and he taints them, and he, and the world thinks this is where these treasures are coming from, but they're really stolen treasures, and the pineal gland is one of those stolen treasures. They call it the third eye. Jesus called it the single eye. I saw, for instance, in the book of Revelation chapter 9, they're going to get hit that same area I was with that. It's like that dark star. I'm not saying it's going to directly hit them in the forehead, but I'm saying that darkness is going to come at that frontal, that pineal gland, and it's going to hit there. And that's where it's painful to get damaged in that area, guys. I don't know if you ever had, but when you have headaches or something, it's painful. It's hard. It can control your whole body, and it's like spinning, when you feel like drunk. If you've ever had that, when you're in so much fear, when you're asleep or you have a panic attack, it's like being drunk. It's like your world is spinning, and it makes you really dizzy, and want to faint or pass out, and I've had a lot of restless nights before, and because of that, that damage where I was hit. But if you just picture Jesus sitting on that spot, it's like a throne. It's the highest representation of the seat of your emotions, the seat of your heart. Your heart's like a throne that God sits on, guys. And the way he was showing me it, at least, to a degree, that Jesus is up here, and then you're down here having the reins of your heart, and you're being governed, and Jesus is over you, kind of showing you how. Because it says set our mind on things above, guys. And a single eye, there's no more single eye than this part right here. And set your mind on Christ, the center of your thoughts. Keep Jesus, picture him sitting there. And it does help, guys. It does help. It cleared out all that darkness there. But again, the enemy, we've heard him do a lot about this whole third eye and exploitation. And, they say when, like MK Ultra people, when they would do things, they would try to exploit it, cause it DMT to be released and you to hallucinate and all that stuff. That's nothing of what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the simplicity, keeping Christ at the forefront of your mind. And if you've had headaches or things, try that, guys, because it does help. It's helped me to focus more, thinking about that. I just got that revelation. Well, I got it last week, but I really started to think about it today, and it kind of really hit me, and it helped me calm down. It helped me kind of realign myself, reposition myself, because the part of getting hit back there is so you back up in your mind, and now you have other things governing and controlling, and you're not in full control, So if you're struggling with thoughts, and thoughts of sin or something, try putting Jesus in that single eye, guys, that he's sitting, because that's, that in many purposes can be where the mind is, they talk about right here, but set Jesus there. Of course, we talk about thinking from our heart, and biblically it comes up, it flows up, but this is the main part it goes to, guys. And thinking about Jesus, keeping him up there, there's something about that when you're doing that, guys, you're not going to have those temptations when you're putting Jesus right here in the center of your mind, And the thing about the mark, he told me they were going to, when the people who take it, it's to get people to basically seat the abomination of desolation there, like the Antichrist is sitting on the throne of your heart and on your pineal gland. And it's described as a seat. And they described something about the pineal gland, a certain part, like a seat, but it was like black, and I believe, or grayish, dark grayish, and then red coming up under it. And God gave a girl a dream. She didn't know why she was seeing this. And the image of the red and black lifted up, and then I was like, wow, or dark gray and black, and I was like, that's the seat, basically. That's the seat, basically, that our that either Jesus sits on or something else. The darkness can be reigning there, you know. And, but he just showed how in the last days they were going to, you know, the Antichrist is going to be lifted up and like taken of the mark and stuff. And they want to take the mark. And can you imagine that they did these MK Ultra things where if people would take this thing, they could release DMT to make you hallucinate, have all kinds of strange experiences of out of body and things, and the devil would be controlling you, and the demons would be in there, and they could control your mind. You know the Agent Smith program from the Matrix, where he just sees people as Smith and he wants to kill them? They're all a dangerous threat. Yeah, the Smith program is in him, guys. It's like being demon possessed. There was a Night Flyer movie, and I don't mean to get too much into the dark stuff, but I'm just trying to show you how this all works. And in the Night Flyer movie, there's this vampire, and he has, it's a Stephen King novel, don't watch it, but, and he's driving around on this plane, you know. He doesn't actually physically fly, but he does have the Dracula-looking cape and ugly-looking, ugly face. But this guy doesn't believe in him and stuff, and I think he's like an interviewer. But he comes to find out through the murders that he is real, and he encounters them. And at the end of the movie, when he tries to stop him, somehow that vampire bites him or something, and he gets an infection. All the people in the place that he's seeing look like vampires in a certain club, and he starts just chopping axes. I mean, chopping up all these vampires. And then at the end of that, you see the cops break down the door, and he has an axe in his hand, and it's a bunch of dead bodies of human beings. That's what we're looking at, of this people who take this mark. You know, there's going to be a time that Jesus talked to me about leaving the earth, guys. There's going to be a time, and we're going to have to go through a process of 3.5 years, but before it can get to that point. But, you know, but you could have the Smith program. I mean, if you have a you know, a mark in your pineal gland controlling that, you could literally control what people see. You could do the Agent Smith program in their mind, and they could see somebody else as Agent Smith, and they could go after them, or they could see him as a zombie and think that they're trying to kill him. You know, this one guy did some acid once, or did something, and he thought all the people were aliens, and they were after him, and he freaked out so much. So the enemy knows the power of the mind, and he knows, you know, the benefits of that, and oftentimes he tries to get into that, so where Jesus isn't there. But when you have Jesus there, you have the truth there, guys. And don't ever take any drugs or anything to try to get spiritual experiences, because you're going to get manipulated and deceived if you do. But if you'll keep your mind on Jesus, just use it to its most basic, simple function, guys. Keeping the word of God, you know, on your mind, the center of your mind, it's gonna really bless you guys, and it'll take care of a lot of those thoughts you're struggling with. Trying to get the devil out of your head, you want to do that, just keep Jesus right here. Picture Jesus, a little Jesus, just sitting right here on, you know, a mental projection of the throne, you know, of that pineal gland, sitting there. And it really will help you guys. But I love you guys. I am praying for you. Pray for me too. These revelations are kind of a lot, you know, especially the book of Daniel that I'm learning about, but studying about stuff. But just pray for me, guys, you know, because it's been a rough week and a rough couple of weeks and everything. My dad died last week and everything, and I'm still, it's crazy, but I'll let you go, guys. I love you. I am praying for you. Till next time, shalom.